Hey y'all, welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Colton here with Brandon, and day one of the Weiss Schwarz Invitationals is just wrapped up. Jesh defeated Phil 2-0 with AOT over BanG, and there's a lot to talk about, not just from this game, but this tournament in general. We weren't planning on doing this until later on this week. So we're recording this, for context's sake, we're recording this shortly after midnight, about a half an hour after Jesh and Phil's game just wrapped up. We're in the Eastern time zone, so it's a little after midnight, technically Tuesday morning. And we weren't planning on recording this specific episode, quote unquote, until later this week. But the first game got moved up to tonight. So the very nice recording that we did earlier, that was going to introduce all of this and what we're going to be doing with this tournament, ended up being pretty much worthless. So with the sudden beginning of the Weiss Schwarz Invitational, the first ever Weiss Schwarz Invitational, we're here earlier than we expected. So quick overview of what exactly we're doing here. First things first, we're not affiliated in any way with this tournament. We're just observers, and we like cards.
That is true. That is 100% true. And we're really excited about this tournament, and we just want to help keep everybody on the same page as well, because we recognize there's a lot of different avenues to find the different streams, to find the different cards, decks, the people playing. So with all of that, we just wanted to provide a quick recap of each day as it progresses throughout the tournament.
Yeah, and that's basically all this is. In addition to the regular live streams, which will be happening on various YouTube channels, potentially Twitch, I'm not entirely sure. Between that and the round by round wrap up, which is, I believe, supposed to go up on Twitch, I believe every game of the tournament is actually watchable live. I'm pretty sure they're going to be at least trying to stream every individual game. But the point of what we're doing, essentially, as Brandon said, is to summarize what is going on day to day, and talk a little bit about maybe how it affects, the way we look at certain decks, look at certain cards, especially given how many new decks there are that are kind of premiering, as it were, in this tournament, because they didn't really get a shot to do anything during Springfest because we didn't have a Springfest. This tournament's really interesting, and there's a lot to talk about, so we want to talk about it. So expect daily uploads as the tournament progresses. If there's a game that happens that day, there should be an upload the next morning with some kind of recap. We're going to try to do our best to keep up to date on how the bracket progresses. It's a double elimination 32-player bracket. And realistically, I think that we're going to see games either every day or almost every day heading into into the next month or so.
And so, as we look at the game that happened today, we saw AOT go against BanG. AOT was the victor after 2 games, so the first game wasn't as close as we would have hoped it to be. We saw that Phil made an error, a mistake, of turnover for attacking, and that just kind of snowballed into not quite getting the parts he wanted throughout the game, and from there it just took the L.
I think that we're both in agreement that until Memory Snow comes out, this is still Attack on Titan's meta, and as long as AOT is the best deck in the format, it's really going to benefit from not having a true counter in this tournament, and also the 2 out of 3 format. That definitely plays into a consistent deck like AOT. You can't snipe it with one game. You have to beat it 2 out of 3. That's going to be a tall order for pretty much any deck in this meta, I think. So I think that the tournament format on the whole also benefits AOT. Phil, he got to level 1 first, but he couldn't make the most of it because of his attack order mistake. AOT got into the board, got the advantage, and just didn't let it go. held board for most of the rest of the game, and took game 1 relatively easily. But game 2 was closer. Phil said that he ditched the wrong card when he was at level 0 off the Ricky. So he ditched a climax that he actually wanted to use that turn. So it didn't help him establish what he wanted to do in the early game. Seemed to recover from that, but AOT had the compression, 4 straight cancels, and Jesh was able to close the game on a combo with a single Mikasa at level 3.
As we look ahead towards the upcoming matches, there are a couple of really cool matches that we're looking forward to. Actually, fun fact: one of them's tomorrow's match, or today's Wednesday's match. Quarantine time is a thing. The ReZero mirror match. Funnily enough, the 2 ReZero decks in the tournament got paired off on round 1, so that's fun. But I think it's going to be a really interesting way to see the players take their decks and use the few cards that they have that are different within them to be able to stand out and try to take the lead.
Yeah, Cameron and Christian met each other at Worlds last year. That game will be streamed on Burn One's channel. Again, that's later today. I believe Kit's going to be on the call. So, a link in the description to Burn One's channel. What are some other first-round matchups that you see that you are particularly interested in, Brandon?
I really like some of the single decks, like decks that are only represented by one person, or sets rather. I like an underdog, so I really kind of root for some of those sets that you don't expect to do well, to continue to soar throughout the tournament.
Fair enough. Given AOT's kind of inherent advantage already as the deck with the highest conversion rate in major tournaments last year, again, the 2 out of 3 format that favors it, I really think that AOT is going to run the table. I don't see AOT losing any of its first-round matchups. I'm hoping to see some AOT Konosuba clashes to see if Konosuba players what Konosuba players are going to try to do to counter AOT specifically, because that's still the marquee matchup in this meta, I think. And I think it's going to be an important one going forward. I'm also curious to see what the new decks that would have premiered during Springfest but didn't get that chance, I'm curious to see how they're going to do. We have a Fujimi Bunko out here. We have a handful of Goblin Slayer. We have a couple of the 8-bar Fate lists. There's a JoJo's out here. So a handful of things that we didn't get to see during Springfest. Riaz is running Alicization. So World Champion, obviously interesting to see what he's going to do with something that's brand new. And
you also have Liam, the runner-up, who is running Fujimi. So, you have players that have performed well at the highest stage with decks that are basically untested in the English meta.
Yeah, and I think that there are also a couple of very good players who are running Konosuba. Cohen, Kit, Ryan Wibberley, all excellent players, all in the Worlds conversation. They're all running Konosuba, so I'm curious to see, especially because all 3 of them have run Konosuba before. I'm curious to see if there's anything that they do differently, especially as I said before in that AOT matchup, to see if maybe they can find some way to mitigate some of AOT's advantage.
We're looking forward to it, and we hope that you'll join us along in this adventure as we continue to explore the Weiss Invitationals. Again, we'll have recaps here after just about every day's match. So if you're interested, follow along with us. Click the subscribe button and like button, share button, whatever you feel like YouTube needs. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Yep, we're going to have links in the description to all of the appropriate channels, Twitch, YouTube, the Twitter, for the invitationals, so that wherever you want to follow along with this, you can. We'll also have a link to the bracket. So all that's in the doobly-doo. Be sure to check all of that out. We know for a fact we've got Cameron and Christian ReZero Mirror Match Worlds Rematch on Burn 1 later today. So we'll be catching that one live. And in any case, we will be back tomorrow. So until then, have a good one.
See ya.